please don't give Penn State fans that level of hope, right? We have enough to worry about as is, okay?
They're eating the dogs, Kieran, in Tuscaloosa.
They're eating the
dogs. You know
that? They were eating
the dogs.
Oh, a meth raccoon.
Yeah.
Just awful. There is nothing good about this. It's the worst possible scenario for the CFP, for the national championship.
Notre Dame is a mid-program with really good marketing.
And the Michigan players are going to look at that, and anybody who's committing to Michigan in the next years will just go, I want to beat them even more. Like, I wanted to beat them when I first came to this school. Recruits are going to see this.
And we're also sorry that you have to watch a Brian Kelly coach football team. We can only imagine how difficult that must be for you, knowing that you're not going to win a big game ever with him as your coach, and that you're rooting for a child murderer.
This podcast has gone off to a really weird start, but I like it.
I love it, though. I'm a big fan. We are back with Kieran, who is over the moon right now. Kieran, how are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. Today has been a wonderful day. For those of you that don't watch European football, European soccer, Tottenham Hotspur won the Europa League, and I am thrilled. Let's go. More Arsenal than silverware. More silverware than Arsenal is what I meant to say this season. So thrilled.
This season, yeah. I mean, hey, you guys did have the Audi Cup.
Yeah, but the Audi Cup is some preseason nonsense that really doesn't even...
It's a trophy.
It's a trophy, and everyone else has won much more prestigious. When I say everyone, this has been the year of the underdog. We're talking Tottenham 17-year wait for a European championship. Crystal Palace, I think, like 56 years. Newcastle 61 years, and I might be getting a few of these wrong, but like really long spells. And it's the year of the underdog, 2025. Pretty sure that's Chinese New Year as well.
Perfect. I did think it was funny that they are 17th in the Prem as well.
Oh, it's absolutely hilarious, yeah. But I think it was separately intentional on the Ange Postecoglou's like mentality. He was like, we know we're not going to get anywhere. Let's save our guys for the important matches, which he kind of did. So, I'm happy for it. It's all that matters. We just have it's just one trophy. That's all we need. We're good.
So he pulled a team trying to get to the college football playoff who knows their position's locked. Yeah. It's like, we're not even going to bother making it to the conference championship.
Yeah, kind of. He's like, we're good. I mean, this stinks, being 17th and almost being relegated. Don't get me wrong, but, so this is a football podcast now. We've completely gone off college. It's now.
Yep. European soccer only. No. If you want soccer talk, go check out Insert Name FC on the Belly Up Sports Podcast Network. Hector does a great show, and that's what keeps me somewhat up to date on soccer, because I watch it sometimes, but a lot of it is Saturday mornings.
Yeah, of course.
So during the football season, I'm watching game day. Outside of football season, I'm catching up on sleep.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you don't just stay up until 3 a.m. watching Hawaii versus Southern Idaho.
Yeah.
Without catching up on sleep elsewhere.
Not just any casual fan will take into account the Mountain West Conference when Hawaii plays Colorado. Those are the true dedicated fans that we know and love.
And that's who this show is for. It's also for people who don't really watch college but want to stay up to date. It's for people who want to learn about college. And people doing some learning, Kieran, this semester rather, is SMU football. They posted their team GPA, which was the highest semester GPA in team history, at 2.95. Now, I was talking to my wife about this. She pointed out that's like a B- B range. That's not a terrible GPA.
No, it's not.
I don't think it's something to flex.
Yeah, I don't really get it. I don't really understand the point of putting up a GPA unless it's a 4.0 or like a 3.9. there's no real point to it because you're only going to make yourself look terrible. They're like,
Yes.
yeah, these are student athletes that don't go to school. They get by in comm classes and things like that.
Hey, I was a comm studies minor.
And
we had a lot of football players in our classes.
Point exactly.
No, and I think it would also look better, to be honest, if they said be average.
Yeah, it would.
The 2 optically looks bad.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what comes after. It's the your initial thought when you see it. You're like, ooh, that's not great.
Yeah, so I think schools should just. I understand you want to celebrate your players, people who are going to pay attention to that more after the 2. Mm-hmm. That's probably a pretty good look for them, but I don't think it really is getting the attention, the kind of attention you want.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure there's guys on the team with 4.0s who are dragging that average up. I'm sure there's also guys on the team battling with academic ineligibility all season.
Right.
So I think they should just stop doing that. People who should also stop doing what they're currently doing. Bill Belichick is reportedly engaged to his child bride, will officially become his child bride. They're aiming for a December wedding. Kieran, what were your thoughts when you saw this news?
My thoughts were this is, as we've discussed, continued elder abuse, and it's only making it worse because now if there is a wedding and a marriage and it's all legally binding and things like that, she's entitled to half, which is wild to think about. Like, his kids are older than her by a good 20 years. So
yeah. For 3 years ago, probably 2 years ago at this point, honestly, I would say no, Bill is going to get a prenup in place.
Yeah.
He's just that kind of guy. I don't think he will now.
No. I
think
the point of no return.
He's quote unquote too in love, and he just won't do it. And I mean, look, Jordon, you secure that bag. I don't know how much she is paid. This is an instance where I wish that she was a University of North Carolina employee, because then we could more easily find her salary as a public employee. But unfortunately, no, it's just, it's not great. And he renamed his boat to 9 rings, I think, or 10 rings, however many he had before, +1. He's been married before.
Right.
So I'm very curious how his ex-wife feels about that.
Yeah.
I know how his ex-girlfriend feels. Apparently, Jordon and Linda Holiday and Miss Massachusetts, for some reason, got into a fight around Christmas at an event in Nantucket.
Yeah, that is the most New England thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, but like upper class New England that I haven't experienced. Like stereotypical New England.
Yeah, exactly. Like stuffy, posh New England. Yeah, that's what that is.
It's just not great. And like, when Tom Brady went to Tampa, you kind of felt like your childhood ended a little bit because he was there 2001 and then up through 2018. This, I feel like, is not throwing the last bit of dirt on our childhood as it's being put in the ground. It's exhuming our childhood, stabbing it 20 times, then dumping the body of our childhood over a cliff on Nantucket.
Yeah, that's a fairly accurate sentiment. It's one of those things where you look up to these guys and they were like the giants of their time. They were the thing to be emulated. And now you realize that they are both fallible and just humans that are making really dumb choices. Now, I get that the whole Tom Brady thing wasn't necessarily a bad choice in his part. He did go to win another Super Bowl, but him retiring and all this crap, and then Bill Belichick doing whatever the hell he's doing right now, it's all just like, man, we have really fallen from greatness.
Yeah, it's just not great. To the Belichick children, there is help available. 800-662-7030 is a toll-free North Carolina number to report elder abuse. You might want to just put that on speed dial just to be safe. I don't know what else to say with it. And then on top of that, we were supposed to get Hard Knocks in college with UNC this offseason. Jordon also killed that dream to demand content approval, partial ownership, and she was talking to a separate production company.
They should have led off with that, with talking about more Hard Knocks. Yeah, I mean, it's so weird, like that. First of all, that anybody's listening to her in the first place, let alone Bill and having his own problems or whatever. But it's you don't get to dictate. You have, as far as I'm aware, and as far as most people are aware, you have no credentials or no experience dealing with this sort of stuff. Butt out of it. Just it's not that you don't belong, it's that you don't know what you're doing. And it's infuriating to see when people are in these positions of, I don't want to say privilege because that gives off the wrong vibe, but these positions of sort of pseudo backroom power that they just absolutely curtail everything anybody's trying to do. And it ruins it for everyone else, the people that wanted to watch UNC at Hard Knocks and things like that. Like it sucks.
Yeah, no, and a lot of the power, or all the power, is just coming from Bill Belichick because he's given her that power.
Right.
It's brutal. I don't want to say I can't wait, but I can't wait to see how this blows up.
Yeah, seriously. I know we don't do bets on college football anymore, but I feel like this is an appropriate bet. Like over under of how many years it takes to either have a divorce or something happen off field that causes all sorts of on-field antics, like over under 2 years.
That's true. I was going to go over under how many weeks at the Nantucket house is she going to get in the divorce?
That's a good one.
Also, who gets custody of Nike? The little point. Alaskan Akita. I'm sure Linda Holiday also has custody. So that you got to think about the stability for the dog here. It's going to be a nightmare. They're going to go, hey, it's time for my week with Bill. Oh, wait, I'm only spending Monday through Thursday with him. Then I have to go spend time with his ex-child bride, Jordon. And, you just got to worry about the stability there. And it's not great for the dog. And, yeah. It's a sad situation. Moving on to, I don't even know.
Proper college football.
Yeah, not even. Matt Rhule was speaking to the media and talking about an expanded college football playoffs. Now, he said this jokingly I have not listened to the clip, but I've read it. I'm going to act like he meant this because there are people who feel this way. Matt Rhule said the more spots, the better. Make that thing 40 and let's go. You're talking about a league that we play 9 conference games where some others play 8. So I think that puts you at an automatic disadvantage. And I agree with him, Kieran. The more the merrier. Make it 60. You can't have Northern South Dakota School of the Mines Bismarck campus left out of the college football playoffs with their 6-7 record. They played some really good teams.
They have potential. They have potential to make a great long run into the playoffs. Starting September 1st, get right into the schedule, start playing playoff games, have a computer do a random number generator of who gets the number 1 seed in a bye week or whatever, and just have at
it. It's insane that they haven't tried this yet.
Yeah. Again,
what even is
we have
CTE?
more and more ideas about how to make college football great again, and yet no one listens.
No one listens. It's absolute ridiculous. I do miss the BCS system.
We're getting back there so quickly, and it's one of those things like they're going to be like, oh, we have a new system. And it's literally just going to be verbatim the BCS, but they can't call it that because it has to be new and improved. And it's going to be completely identical in every aspect of the framework. And then you're just going to go, so it's the BCS? They're like, no, it's new. It's the Bowl Championship Series. Ironic.
Yes. No, it's going to be like CFP AI. They're going to be like a computer's giving us these teams.
Yeah.
And I also like the idea of you just get an ancient Greek oracle at the beginning of the year to tell you who the best teams are going to be. And then you just announce the playoffs that week.
Yeah. You could do, you could just ask ChatGPT and do like assign a random matchups for a 64 team tournament based on the previous year's schedule and win-loss ratio, and then they'll just spit out a winner and we'll just hand that person the trophy. They don't even need to play, like actually physically play. Just let ChatGPT do all of it.
That's true. And speaking of which, I'm having ChatGPT give me a new 12-team college football playoff for the 2024-2025 team. And the seeding will be Michigan at 1 as the Big Ten champ, Washington at 2 as Pac-12, Texas moving back to the Big 12, apparently, according to ChatGPT, as the Big 12 champion. Texas will be the 3 seed. Florida State, quite a rebound as the ACC champ at 4. Then Alabama, Georgia, Ohio State, Oregon, Missouri, and Penn State are the top 10. Ole Miss, if Liberty is not ranked high enough, at 11, and Liberty at 12, if included as a group of 5 champ. And this is insane. Apparently, the SEC is going to be really bad because the SEC champion is not going to make it. And let's see who they have winning. Let's just wait for this to... Why is it giving me the 2023 now? I don't like this. It has Georgia winning, although it's giving me 2023 for some reason. So maybe don't use ChatGPT.
Much like the students at the university themselves, don't use ChatGPT when you could just do it yourself.
Yeah, it's just bad. You also work on your prompts and just don't give it room to think. Just here's what I want.
Yeah.
And hopefully, okay, that's no. It's now just telling me what happened last year. So AI is still a long way to go. But no, Kieran, seriously, what do you think about Matt Rhule's flippant comments and an expanded playoff as a whole? That we've talked about 50 times already.
Yeah, it's one of these things that's just going to keep popping back up. Oh, we need an expanded playoffs. Oh, it doesn't incorporate enough teams. Or, oh, these guys had a really good year despite some losses. Yada, yada, yada. Yeah, it does not matter. When Alabama is playing the 14th, 18th, 19th, 21st, 67th team, they are going to steamroll them, or anybody in the SEC. Well, not anybody, but you know, the powerhouses, right? Ohio State, Michigan, a Texas team that's, you know, on form, Alabama and Georgia, like as some examples. If they're number 1 and they're playing a number billion seed, they're going to beat them. There's no point in putting those guys at risk for that type of game. And you could say, oh, the Alabama will just rest their starters or whatever. And yeah, sure, that could happen. But it's one of those things that the disparity between the top 12, 15 teams is so large compared to literally everyone else that there's no point in leaving these guys out to dry, playing them more than they should at a college football level, because this is where they show whether or not they can make it in the NFL. And the more every single game is an additional bit of strain that is put on these guys' bodies. And I get it, they're young, blah, 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 blah. an expanded playoff is not going to work. It's never going to be agreed upon, and everything that will happen around it will only lead to more problems down the road.
I 100% agree. And also, I've said this countless times before, expanding the playoff further is not going to get you the scrappy underdog. Like, yes, right. Boise State, Arizona State, they were good stories this year, but more often, no, look who won the national championship. Ohio State, who lost 2 games. More often than not, if not all the time, that is going to be what we get.
Yeah.
A team with a down year who turns it on end of December, goes on a run, wins a national championship. And a lot of Ohio State fans like, this was the toughest national title run ever. Well, was it? Like, yes, the actual playoffs were tough, but you guys lost 2 games. I think that's happened maybe once before in college, except like 1895 when there was
which doesn't count.
3 games played against Rutgers and Princeton. But it's just bad, and it's not going to have the intended effect, because also people argue, well, it's just going to make games mean more. No, it's not. You're going to have, like you said, Alabama, Ohio State, when they're playing Southwestern Tennessee State University, Memphis campus, or whatever the hell school they would let in here, would just rest all their starters. And then the game's not going to matter even more. So I hate it.
Yeah. The 12 teams was a stretch already. We have been through that. We have worn that topic down to its absolute nubs. There are a collective of teams that are, I don't want to say predestined, but that have the longevity of school history to know that every year they are most likely going to be good. And on the occasional year, they will challenge for a national championship or make a run into the national championship. So as much as we hate to say it, right, I would argue that Penn State's kind of up there. It's like one of those teams that could like make a run late. Michigan has had down year ever since, Harbaugh left, and I know the cheating scandals, but regular Michigan, they're most likely going to make a run. Ohio State, and then you got the Alabamas, the Georgias, LSU when they're really good. Auburn tends to make these like weird once every 10 years. They're insane. Florida State, despite their past season, has been for the last 20 or so years definitely up there in terms of it. Clemson, like there are teams that have this sort of continued longevity of success despite having down years and things like that. So the majority of the time, they're going to beat up on a UTEP, a UNLV, a school from the group of 5 or something that just has great years, don't get me wrong, and it's so much fun to watch them, but don't put them up against these teams that are just going to slaughter them. Make the Bowls season matter again, right? Make those games matter, and people will put in the effort. And we saw that all throughout like the early 2010s, all the way up into the CFP formatting. It was always great. Granted, we knew it was going to be an Alabama or a Georgia or something along those lines that was going to win it. But every other game still mattered, and it was still fun to watch despite everything else going around it.
Yeah, it's all those schools you mentioned, I completely agree on. And if you look at, they all have one thing in common.
Boosters.
It's not style of play. It's resources.
Yeah.
They either have the history where someone can look at them and go, if we give them enough money, they will figure it out.
Yeah.
We have the name recognition. We can we can will our way to a national championship through our wallets. Mm-hmm. And then also you just have Auburn, whose boosters like throwing money into a black hole 9 times out of 10.
Yeah.
It's And even the fringe guys who you go, well, they're probably not going to win, but they might. Tennessee, you have Oklahoma, not as much this year, but historically.
Yeah.
USC, you're never going to count them out, even though they've been bad for a bit, because some booster could come, open up their wallet, and just throw money at it.
Yeah.
Same thing with Miami. These smaller schools don't have that advantage. They have to scrap their way through. And look, those stories, UNLV this year, great story. A lot of fun to watch. If you put them in the playoff, that story is going to be remembered a lot differently nationally if they're blown out 52-3
in the first quarter.
Yeah, I hate it. Please stop expanding. Contract.
Yes.
Shrink the CFP.
Yeah. Top 10 teams only get ranked. That's it.
I'd be okay with top 10 only.
Yeah. Make our job a hell of a lot easier when we're doing the weekly rankings.
Yeah.
But speaking of these championships and things like this, and this is a topic that I kind of wanted to bring up, early season / preseason predictors. Stop. There is no amount of geriatric facts that you are going to shove into a computer model that is going to spit out a team that isn't already Alabama or Georgia within the last 10 years to say, oh, Penn State's going to win it this year. And this is something that I had sent to you earlier this week. And that wasn't the first one. That was like the second or third one. But I have seen about 3 or 4 like predictors, like, early season predictors that put Penn State as national championships. 2 things with that. 1, please don't give Penn State fans that level of hope, right? We have enough to worry about as is. Okay. Let's move past that very quickly. Second of all, in what realm do you find that Penn State, with its current draft class, or current draft class, and strength of schedule and historic statistics against opposing teams, makes you think that in the playoffs we won't inevitably choke and destroy our own chances of being happy?
Yeah, and what you sent me is from CFB Alerts. It has Penn State and UNLV in round 1, Oregon and LSU, Miami and Georgia, and then Alabama and Notre Dame, as Penn State beating UNLV, which is making Kieran choose between his 2 loves, which is just unfair to him.
It's unfathomable.
Then they beat Kansas State, getting a first round bye.
Yeah.
Then they beat Ohio State, which is really when you lose me.
Yeah.
Just not possible. Also, it has Notre Dame beating Alabama. I was told I have to stop saying this on the podcast. I will kill myself. Well, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I will be meeting Jesus Christ if that happens.
Oh, man. Obviously, you can't because we have this podcast to do. But I understand where your sympathies lie, certainly.
Yeah, and my wife's going to listen to this. I'll be like, you can't kill yourself. That's not allowed. So I'm not actually going to, but it would
so help me if I could.
I would go on the kind of bender
that is only reserved for people who
mother.
just found out they're cancer free,
or that. Yeah. So, but no, I agree. We made a joke post about it earlier in the off season about kind of our way too early. I think it was 2047.
Yeah.
Top 10. And we're going to run through that real quick because I'm very proud of this.
All right, go on.
Of course, we're using Instagram now, so I have to scroll a bit. Yep. Way too early. 2047 CFB top 10. You have Penn State at 10, Army at 9, Moon University at 8, UNLV at 7, Kent State at 6, Greenland State at 5, Westfield at 4, North Dakota State at 3, Ohio State at 2, and Georgia at 1. And I think that's about just as likely as the CFB Alerts preseason or 2026 playoff prediction.
Certainly. Yeah. It's one of those things like it's more so for Penn State fans. Just don't get our hopes up like that. We don't have anything to latch on to anymore, all right?
I feel like Penn State is sneaky one of the most down bad teams.
Yeah. Yeah.
And people will point to a UTEP, a Kent State, a UMass being like, well, they have it worse. First off, UMass fans don't exist.
Yeah. They don't care.
They don't care. They don't exist. If anyone who roots for college or who cares about college football goes to UMass, they're not rooting for UMass.
No.
They might be rooting for UConn, and that's just because of basketball.
Right.
But you guys have expectations.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's the expectation that kills the hope, because we're like, oh, we've got the best draft class, of the Big Ten. We're gonna kill Michigan this year. Yada yada yada. We end up losing to fucking Bowling Green by a field goal at like week 2, and we're like, oh, how could this happen to us? We're supposed to be national champions, and then we just let it get to our heads, and it just goes straight down from there.
Yeah, and I said this at the height of Alabama and the Patriots runs. It not overall, obviously, not like from that time period, it did not suck. But when they would lose the Super Bowl or the national championship, it was probably more heartbreaking for a fan of those teams than a Browns fan watching them lose their 15th game of the year.
Yeah.
Or a Mississippi State fan watching them not win a game all year, because we had hope and expectations and they were shattered. Yeah. So if you want to feel real heartbreak, become a fan of a good team. Root for a competent team, organization, school, whatever, and then you will know how much it sucks at times.
Yeah.
Nobody is going to feel bad for me.
Yeah. And don't just root for the team and like kind of watch them, every other Saturday or whatever. Buy into it. Buy some gear. Like, sit down and watch all 3 to 4 hours of the game and suffer like the rest of us, because it absolutely kills a little part of your soul that you didn't even know you had. But on the flip side, the highs are above high. There are no drugs on the planet that could compare to your team winning a championship of some kind. Either it's a conference championship, which is a little bit less so in college sports, but a bowl game, or the granddaddy of them all, the national championship. For God's sakes, Tottenham, we were just talking about this beginning of the podcast, garbage. Absolutely, hopes and expectations sky high. We're always let down. This was the one year that I've watched them where I finally yes, thank you. There is nothing that is going to get my mood down for the rest of the week. I'm good. I could watch all of my teams lose this weekend and I'll be perfectly okay.
That's fair. Yeah, it's great when they win. But anything else you want to talk about, predictors, or were you just kind of want to get that off your chest?
I just wanted to vent, yeah.
Okay, well, speaking of winning, Nick Saban has won the Emmy for outstanding
again. Oh my God, can somebody stop him?
No, you can't stop him. That man knows how to win.
Yeah. He's going to take up cooking and just be like as good as Gordon Ramsay in a year.
I want to see him on Great British Bake Off next.
Great British Bake Off college football edition.
No, Kieran, we cannot do an all college football edition, because I would just be thinking the whole time, God, Mike Leach would be awesome on this.
Yeah.
And then I'd get sad.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
But as we're talking about college football and specifically the SEC, we went through the histories of these conferences and who roots for them last couple of weeks. Now we're going to go into their drinks of choice. And this is really going to be, we're going to try to embody each program with a certain drink. Most of them are going to be alcoholic, but for some, it might not be. We started with the ACC or Big 12, I forget. Then we moved on to the other of those two, then the Big 10, then the SEC, then the rest. We're going to go backwards. We're going to do the SEC, Big 10, Big 12, ACC, and then the rest. Might do some different schools for the rest, but it's going to be the Pac-2 and the independents, and then maybe some new group of fives. Not sure. But, Kieran, you ready to get going?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's do this.
We're going to start with Texas. We're just going to do the same order that my spreadsheet's in. All Texas, right. Kieran. What drink is Texas Longhorns football?
Texas Longhorn football is quite fittingly ranch water. It's popular amongst the people that drink it, i.e. support the team, and hated by everyone else.
That's fair. I was going to go with Lone Star beer just because their thing is we're Texan. And that's really what Texas's whole thing is. Like, we're Texas, we're better than you because we're from Texas. Next up, Georgia. Georgia, I'm going to go with seltzer. Any brand, doesn't matter. Was not a thing for a while. At least wasn't a good thing. Nobody really cared. I think Zima might have been technically a seltzer. So in the 80s, 1980, they won a national title. And then it popped up in the last 10 years. Being good, people are enjoying it. Georgia football.
All right. I like it. I was going to save this one for someone else, but I feel like it kind of works with Georgia as well. So, those super fans paint themselves red and black. You see them every, time they're broadcasted. I'm going to go with a Revolver, which is just American bourbon and Kahlua. It's very simple. It's effective. It works.
I don't think I've ever had that, and I don't know if I ever want to.
Surprisingly really good. Like, if you just want something simple, Revolver.
All right, I'll have to try it. Next up, Tennessee. Kieran, what is Tennessee?
Tennessee is those Sunny D vodkas because they got the same color orange, but you're just drunk enough to not care what you're doing.
That's a good one. I think I'm gonna have to go with moonshine, and not like,
oh, that's a good one. Yeah,
and not like Old Smoky or Midnight Moon or whatever. No. I'm talking the shit you get in the middle of the Appalachians. That's not might is going to make you blind, because after looking at those jerseys, you're going to wish you didn't have to see them. And after watching that team play, especially late in the season, you're going to wish you were blind and could forget everything that you just watched.
Yeah. If it's taxed, it's not moonshine.
That's very fair.
That's how you know.
All right. Next up, Ole Miss. It's whatever the girl across the bar is drinking, who probably got in with a fake ID.
Yeah, that's a good one. I'm gonna go with Natter Days. I feel like super easy and enjoyable, but you wouldn't want to stick around for them. You're not gonna go out of your way to get them.
That's fair. Alabama. I had one, but I don't think it's a great one. So I'm looking up old person drink alcohol, and I just got the National Helpline for Mental Health, Drug, and Alcohol Issues. That's not what I wanted, Google. All right, I'm just going to go with my original one. Yingling.
Oh,
and a Pennsylvania beer might be surprising to some.
Yeah.
This initially, I wrote a blog about this like 5 years ago, and I had Jack Daniel's Sinatra Select because that was like my favorite whiskey at the time. It was a classic. Not as much anymore for Alabama. But when I was in college, you're drinking PBR, Natty Light, Moonshine, Aristocrat vodka, whatever you can get your hands on, wine you fermented in your closet, even though it tasted terrible, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So Yingling was a high class, a peak beer that you could get. Fun fact, my buddy once rear-ended me because I was at a stop sign and he wasn't paying attention. He's like, I'll buy you a beer. I'm like, just get me Yingling. Because like that was a good beer to me at the time. I still liked Yingling, but it's not the peak that it was when I was in college. So Alabama is Yingling.
Okay. All right. I like that. I'm kind of going to go a little bit springboard off you. I was going to say like, this is a little bit of a broad category, but a red wine, simple, timeless, classy, functional, does the job. Alabama.
That's fair. Next up, South Carolina. This one I don't know.
I'll give you. Oh no! Wait, hang on a second. Oh, I think I have the wrong Carolina. Yeah, I do. I was gonna say rum, because of Blackbeard and pirates and things like that, but it was actually North Carolina where Blackbeard was caught and killed. So damn, got the wrong Carolina there. Whoops. Still fitting.
I'll just go with what I said in 2020.
Okay.
Aristocrat vodka. God, Aristocrat is gross. Hope they never sponsor us because that would be hard to explain. In Tuscaloosa, you can get a handle for $13.49. It was not good, but it was cheap, especially for that one night. You soaked some Jolly Ranchers in it, and it suddenly became the greatest thing ever after you drank everything else. For South Carolina, that one night was the Georgia game last year. Everyone loved that game, but would never pick South Carolina ever. And I think outside, you changed Georgia game last year to last season, and it still kind of fits.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like it's the connotation with South Carolina is always like, sunny, you've got good vibes, it's always, nice weather or whatever. And whether or not that's true, I don't know. I've never been. But I feel like an Arnold Palmer, like a mixed Arnold Palmer with some vodka in it might be pretty good. Is there a name for that down there? I feel like there might
Probably
be.
Just an Arnold Palmer.
Spiked Arnold Palmer. Yeah. Something like that. That gives off South Carolina vibes.
Yeah.
Good golf.
South Carolina, big golf.
Big golf. Big golf, yeah.
Next up, Missouri. Miller Lite. I cannot explain it. It just fits.
Yeah, that's good. I was going to say PBR, but that Miller Lite works just fine. I had PBR on my list, but yeah, it's fine. Works.
All right. Next up, Kentucky.
Need we say that one?
I mean, bourbon, but
yeah.
I was thinking like before we were born, it was this thing, a beer ball.
A beer ball?
Which was like, it's a round keg, basically, or a round mini keg shaped like a ball.
Okay.
And I feel like Kentucky would like that because it would remind them of basketball.
Ah, I see. Okay. Going with the theme there. I like it.
Yeah. So a bourbon too.
Yeah.
But
I'll go bourbon. You go beer ball. There we go.
Okay. Next up, Texas A&M University. Kool-Aid. Because they're a cult.
Yeah. Fits.
Anything else?
Let me think. I got it. Gin. But gin. Trying to be sophisticated and cool and part of the inner circle, but you're absolutely not.
Okay. I could get behind that.
Yeah.
Next up, Louisiana. I'm going to go with absinthe.
Yeah, that's a great one. Yeah.
It's giving French vibes. In Louisiana's redneck France, basically.
Yeah.
it's hallucinogenic, and if not prepared properly, and it's just giving Louisiana all the bright, fun colors.
Makes sense. Um, I'm gonna reserve. I'm gonna not say what I want to say. So I'm just gonna let's just move on from there.
Okay, another one I was gonna say is Jello shots, but with Jello stolen from a hospital.
Swamp water.
Yeah, is that what you wanted to say, but weren't going to?
No.
Okay, what were you gonna say?
No, I'm not.
If it's that bad, I'll edit it out.
No, it's fine. Just we'll go on,
man. All right, Florida meth. Just because it's Florida.
Florida tequila sunrise.
Okay,
nice. It's nice enough.
That's fair. Arkansas. Whatever's on sale at Walmart.
Yeah.
And also that they can drink a lot of to forget that they're Arkansas fans.
Right. And it's there are no 30 racks, only 99 racks.
Yeah, pretty much. All right. Vanderbilt.
I've got one for this.
All right.
An 18-year-old Scotch. Classy, sophisticated, well above the rest in terms of pomp and circumstance. Scotch.
That's fair. I was gonna go an old fashioned. Like, it's not a great tailgate drink, but it's something that people drink to feel superior.
Yeah, definitely. So we're kind of on the same page there.
Yeah. All right. Next up, Auburn. I skipped one, but it's fine. Kieran, do you have one for Auburn?
Yeah. Southern Comfort and Coke. It's a homage to something that could be great, but isn't.
That's fair. Yeah. That's a good one. I think. Oh, I had one for a second and then I forgot it. I think Southern Comfort and Coke might fit. I don't think I could beat that one. Fun fact about Southern Comfort. I went to visit my sister at college when I was like 19, 20, and I drank an entire bottle of Southern Comfort in like an hour.
Yep.
And then I jumped in the snow, and I can't drink Southern Comfort to this day because I hate it. So it also fits with Auburn.
Yeah, that's good. I think anybody who's been to college always has one of those stories that's just like, I can't drink this thing anymore because I did it once and I regret it.
Yeah. Next up, Oklahoma.
Now this one's a little bit of a challenge, I think.
I agree. I don't know. If I look up like Oklahoma beer, it's Oklahoma sucks beer. I don't think they would be buying that. Whatever Mike Gundy was driving when he got a DUI.
I've got one. Any domestic beer, so like Blue Moon, Yingling, Sam Adams, it's something from the States, and it's something almost homely feeling about it. It's not the best thing you've ever had, but it certainly will get the job done. That's what I'm kind of viewing Oklahoma as. And like the old heads love it. That's the other thing. It's like something that was there for many generations, and it goes through peaks and troughs of the next generation, but like the old guys absolutely love it.
That's true. That's a good one. Yeah. And also what the old guys love, the domestic beers, probably what Mike Gundy was drinking. So
yeah, probably.
Want to say, all right, the final school, Mississippi State. Rum for the pirate captain.
Yes, of course. Of course. Yeah. I can't really think of anything better than that for the pirate ship. Hmm.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Here's what I wrote in 2020 when Mike Leach was still there. Original recipe for Loco. Only a lunatic would drink Four Loko, which a lot of my friends did in college. Mike Leach is an absolute nutcase, and he is slowly becoming the SEC's darling child. I wouldn't be surprised to learn Leach pounds Four Lokos before kickoff, gives him the energy he needs to call the same 3 plays all game, but not full of a buzz to not get bored of it.
All right. I like that. I'm gonna slightly piggyback off that as well, and just go punch. It's a lot of everything. None of it's good, but it's fun.
That's true. I like that one too.
Yeah,
that one's good. There you have it. What each SEC team is as a drink. I'm shocked that we didn't just say moonshine 14 times.
No. We got to get up to like Virginia, the ACC, West Virginia. That's just all moonshine.
To get to Appalachian country.
Yeah, exactly.
That's true. So yeah, they're not all going to be drinks, as you could tell by meth being for Florida. But stick around if you think we got something wrong, or you think there's something better out there that you can compare your team or a rival to. Let us know in the comments. Let us know on Twitter @QuadTailgate. Please like and subscribe this video. Please like this video and subscribe to our YouTube. It does help us out a lot. It gets people paying attention to us, and it makes us look better for the higher ups at Belly Up, which is important. Everyone have a good, safe, fun weekend. It's Memorial Day weekend, so challenge to everyone. Try to consume one of every drink we mentioned, except for the meth
and the swamp water.
Well, if you have access to it, maybe boil it first to kind of distill it a little bit, get some of that grossness out. But outside of the meth, give everything a go. Life's more fun when you say yes, Kieran.
That's true. That's true.
So yeah, everyone have fun. Let us know how your bender goes. And yeah, Kieran, do you have anything fun for Memorial Day weekend?
Free Jacks rugby. Gonna go watch the game. Have a few brewskis. It's gonna be raining where we are, so
yeah,
it kind of sucks. It's the worst. It's the worst because you desperately want it to be sunny, but
it's like that first weekend of summer, and it's gonna rain.
It's just awful. It's just awful.
Absolutely brutal. Well,
but if it is bright where you guys, wherever our listeners are and viewers are, enjoy yourselves. It's one of the best weekends of spring / summer, whatever. Enjoy it.
Get on that back porch or in a field and just start drinking.
Yeah.
Or a beach, if it's nice where you are. And yeah, so that's that. Everyone have a good, safe, fun weekend. And remember, one of each one, except for the meth. They're eating the dogs, Kieran, in Tuscaloosa.
They're eating the dogs.
You know that?
They were eating
the dogs.
Oh, a meth raccoon.
Yeah.
Just awful. There is nothing good about this. It's the worst possible scenario for the CFP, for the national championship.
Notre Dame is a mid-program with really good marketing.
And the Michigan players are going to look at that, and anybody who's committing to Michigan in the next years and just go, I want to beat them even more. Like, I wanted to beat them when I first came to this school. Recruits are going to see this.
And we're also sorry that you have to watch a Brian Kelly coach football team. We can only imagine how difficult that must be for you, knowing that you're not going to win a big game ever with him as your coach, and that you're rooting for a child murderer.
This podcast has gone off to a really weird start, but I like it.
I love it, though. I'm a big fan.